Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already subscribed, I hope that you choose to, based on the fact that I now am actually making videos. For the longest time, I had one video on my channel, and of course, that does not make a YouTube channel. Anyway, this is a bit of a mixed bag today. A bit of thrifting, a bit of maybe progress updates. So I'll dig right in. These clearly look like Scrabble tiles, but they're magnetic. So I thought, oh, that would be perfect for, you know, they're thin, perfect for adding to journals. So I grabbed those. I never pass up a bag or a box or whatever of paper clips because we know how important those are in the journal making world. I was attracted to this piece of cross stitch. The colors are kind of representative of a lot of Ukrainian cross stitch embroidery that a person sees, that I have done myself as a young Ukrainian bride 100 years ago. This perhaps is not a traditional pattern of any sort. It certainly doesn't look like it to me. The fringe is also something different, but again, I'm not about to leave this behind. A piece of Aida cloth, well done, you know, a trim that can be removed if I absolutely hate it, and it came home with me. This clearly has stains, and that's probably why it ended up being donated. But, and I know you can't see this all, but it's a square, I guess back in the day would have been called a luncheon cloth. So it's got, I guess every second panel has a floral bit of embroidery. So, I mean, obviously, you know what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to chop it up and use it. This was a little binder. What is the size, by the way? 9 by 7. Had a bunch of lined refill sheets in it, so that was great. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It does seem, you know, it's in great condition. I may choose to do something for myself with this. So, again, I wasn't about to leave that behind. You know, in a lot of these thrift and secondhand stores, there are, oh, I just caught sight of my hands. I should say that, yeah, I don't know when exactly you're going to be seeing this video, but the other day I was doing something with Liquitex matte medium. And, you know, like I was covered in this stuff. Good thing I didn't have any jewelry on. Several washings did not remove it all. So note to self, wear gloves next time. Anyway, these are the working hands. This, you know, they're in the secondhand stores, there's always a huge section of photo albums. I kind of gravitated to this one because it's a different format. I'll show it to you that way. There's only one sheet like this, and the rest are these little pockets. They actually fold out. Now I know, let's see, where's the opening? The opening is from the side, which in the past I've used photo albums to store ephemera, but we know that yes, it's great because it's transparent, but it's not so great because these pockets, regardless of the format, either don't hold the stuff in very well or are kind of tricky to get into. So I will probably just rip these out and, you know, or cut them off at the seam there. But the reason I grabbed this is because, you know, on YouTube we see a lot of those journals that are taking a different format, in that the paper 8.5 by 11 is folded lengthwise instead of crosswise. So that would fit perfectly in a book like this. Can you see that? there's certainly, you know, when I deconstruct and remove this wire coil, there will be plenty of room to, you know, to put in signatures and whatever. So I've also never made a traveler's journal. So that's another thing that's on my to-do list at some point. But anyway, I grabbed that. Oh, by the way, all of these things that you've seen so far were $1 each. Now this was a sealed box of hanging file folders, sort of in that army green. And I mean, we all know what they look like. These all have the metal wire things, which are easy enough to remove. The top 3 were something that I haven't seen before, in that they have a gusset. These things are plastic, so there are 3 of those. I'm going to have to think about what to do with those to maximize, to take advantage of the gusset. Okay, there is more. And of course, there were books. Now, you know, again, everything in that place is $1. So I grabbed this because we know that, number one, small books are so darn cute, but also they're, and it's actually, no, I was going to say sewn in signatures, but no, they're not glued in. A lot of quotes that can be cut out, a lot of things, cute little images that could be fussy cut, some bigger ones that could find their way onto a card or a pocket. So lovely, lovely, lovely. And who doesn't love fussy cutting? So that was cute. This is, obviously someone turned this in. I think it's, yeah, it has a religious, you know, angle to, oops, sorry, I rolled my chair into the stand. And moved my camera too, or my phone. It has a lot of, or several watercolor, you know, reproduction paintings. So again, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, I think this one's, yeah, glued in as well. So this was a bit of a weird one, and I think this must have been intended for, yeah, it's got a school name on it. It was intended for students, bonus, and it looks like a quiz in a sense that it talks about different inventions, and I guess kids were expected to figure out, well, what would be the possible use for something like this. So again, some weird and wacky stuff that would probably lend itself more to a, you know, steampunk kind of journal than anything else. But again, nice paper, $1, black and white drawings, a bigger font. So I was happy with that. Now, I, of course, am living in Western Canada. Never been to England, but of course there are a lot of, some of my favorite YouTubers are in England or the United Kingdom. And so when I saw these magazines, this 75, 96, 81, 75, and 75, and 75. Okay, so they range in age. The paper is not overly glossy. It's a combination of ads and old photos and poetry, some in color, some not, some black and white, mostly black and white, I guess. And it just seemed like, you know, there were a lot of possibilities here, again, for you know, deconstructing this. And I really love these. In each issue, there seems to be a Ronald Embleton. There seems to be a lovely drawing. It almost looks like there was a series. Oh, the second in a series of 20 painted by Ronald Embleton, exclusively for this magazine, and these are characters from Dickens. So again, it would take an oversized book to accommodate something that big, but yeah, almost 10 inches. You know, really lovely, lovely, lovely. So magazines were 2 for 50 cents. So I picked a bunch of those. This is, I'm not sure what this is. It appears, I think it's leather. It has 2 pockets. It has metal corners. It has kind of an embossed or modeled type cover to it. So, and there's rigidity to it. So I think that, you know, it's, again, really big. 14 inches by 12 inches. So clearly I could remove these things, cut down the you know, the 2 halves, the 2 covers. You know, each cover could make a journal cover, theoretically. So again, that's on the to be continued pile. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show is, oh, I guess you probably never saw these. I picked up a number of old postcards that I intend to probably scan and create into a digital. You know, they ranged in price from probably $2 to $5 depending on condition, as well as this photo. I thought these, there's kind of a thorn among the roses. These sorts of things clearly add to, you know, sort of the authenticity of a journal project, as well as, well, give me more to do in the scanning and all the effort that goes into creating a digital. But at this point in my life, because my collection is rather small, I'm not prepared at this moment to use the originals yet. So we'll see what happens with that. You might have seen the video. It was also a thrifting video not so long ago, where I got a bunch of fabric. So just to even out some of the pieces, what I did was cut strips that I thought would make great ruffles. I considered sewing them by hand, which of course is always an option, but that of course is much slower. So I just wanted to show you that sometimes I plunge right in and create, sort of take the first step in what is going to ultimately be a project. So I'm not going to tear a strip, run to the sewing machine and run it through. I have a sewing project basket or box or whatever. So this will be added to that, and then when I settle down in, beside the sewing machine, this will get done. And I think in that last video I showed you another lovely book with a lot of Victorian type imagery in it. So basically, where the pages were really, where the signatures were really quite nice, either with this vintage wallpaper or images like this, I just kept them intact. And of course they'll find their way into you know, for future projects. In other cases where it was a single side or I had already pre-cut something else, I've just sort of prepared them. This, you know, will end up being a pocket. I cut the divot there to remind myself of that. And obviously that would be decorated to cover. So, you know, between some fussy cutting, some fussy tearing, I have a few little things here ready to go. So I guess the only reason I'm showing you that is to say that I find that if I cut right into or deconstruct something right off the bat, it sort of helps I think it helps prevent some of the inclination to hoard and save for some magical moment where the planets are aligned and I've got my lucky green socks on and everything is perfect. Well, near as I can tell, there is no perfect, and that day never comes. So it just seems that it's really more important, or at least works well with my personality, is to start the project, get into it. You know, of course, the danger is that I never go back to it. But the more likely possibility is that I will get to it and remember, number one, why I bought it and what my intention was. And also knowing that, oh, I'm halfway there. Just a little more effort or a little, another finishing touch. And voila, I'm done. Oh, another thing I spotted. I don't know if I showed you this or not. I've never had a ration book. This was a little bit pricey. It was bought at an antique mall on my way back from, where was I? I think it might have been on my trip back from Canmore. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. There really is no date on it, but I guess this was... I didn't pay $5. I guess that I could Google and find out, you know, what year ration books were used. And anyway, back to what I was saying. I also have been surprised by, or the number of people say, oh, I'm just using what's, especially those English YouTubers say, I've got things floating around on my desk. I'm thinking, I've never seen any levitation of craft materials. So as a Canadian, I'm more likely to say what's kicking around on my desk or what's lying around on my desk. But the concept is the same. Every time we do something, we create, I should take this out of here, reduce the glare. Every time we do something, we make a mess. We make more and tinier bits of whatever. So we have good intentions. We set out with a full piece of paper and it ends up being in, you know, 5 or 6 different pieces, all smaller. So I'm finding that now that I'm, you know, dedicating kind of daily effort to this undertaking, that yes, I will just reach for whatever is within reach, glue it down, and be done with it rather than, you know, spend time filing or handling, rehandling, stacking, unstacking, losing, rediscovering. So sometimes it's better to just bite the bullet and use it. And maybe another perfect example of that, I found a piece of, well, I guess it was actually Christmas wrap. You know, and how a started piece of wrapping paper tends to get kind of ratty looking. Anyway, I decided that I love the pattern. I love the muted nature of it. And everything was, you know, it was printed on a diagonal. So I fussy cut around this. I've used some of these strips already. There are smaller ones, again, because of the way the printing process was. This was, you know, these are little corners. And so today, rather than add another roll of wrapping paper to my wrapping paper section or wallpaper, I just cut off all these strips. I think, yeah, there are just 3 of them. And I intend to, you know, fussy cut around them, glue them down. Maybe they become a collage, a masterboard. Or maybe they just get glued down to coffee dyed paper or some other fancy paper, some other, you know, special paper. And then I know that there it is, ready to go. I could also glue them onto, what do you call it? Scrapbook paper that is, you know, kind of not so beautiful, let's say. Knowing that it will stabilize it a bit because, of course, we know that this is paper thin. So again, then I know that, hey, I don't have this somewhere that I forget about. I don't see it continue to get damaged. I know that it's ready to use. And frankly, I'm finding that nothing is that, or most of what a person has is not that precious. So what am I saving it for? Get on with it, use it, move on to the next thing. And I guess, you know, there's sort of a belief out there, you know, sort of the abundance theory, that if we believe and act like things are scarce, whether it's money or things or whatever, or people or resources or health or you name it, then the universe tends to make our perceptions a reality. But if, on the other hand, we believe in abundance and that, if we use this, something equally as wonderful or perhaps better will enter our lives, then, hey, there is nothing, absolutely nothing to lose. So I will climb down from my soapbox. I will say that's it for today. And I'm going to try to schedule this YouTube and see how that works for me. I think that the most successful YouTubers have found that, rather than break up each day doing a video, a lot of them, I believe, do multiple videos in a day. I've heard people talk about, oh, this is my 4th video of the day. Forgive me if I can't speak, straight anymore. So, yeah, I'm going to try scheduling just to, again, build up my inventory of videos. I remember seeing a YouTube video by a guy saying that it takes on average 35 videos to get, a little bit comfortable, a little bit good. And he dared to show his own video. He was maybe 14 or so at the time, had done his first video in his bedroom, and it was god-awful. But of course, now he's a gazillionaire providing advice to other YouTubers. So I guess that also falls into the Malcolm Gladwell theory that, we all serve an apprenticeship in a sense, and that we need to do something 10,000 times in order to have the expertise and skill level to kind of be a master. So, a lot of us maybe don't have that much time left, but certainly I find that I'm getting more comfortable in the talking. Perhaps there are fewer ums and ahs, maybe less throat clearing. And yeah, I'm trying to make this easier on myself and hopefully more valuable to you. Again, because your time as well as mine is precious. I hope that you are getting something out of these videos, and stay well, keep crafting, and use it, damn it, use it. Thanks. See you next time. Bye.